3 months, I'm happy to say we actually had one of our first 30K months, right? So we're able to bring in some amazing clients. And then actually 4 to 6 months after that, we had our first 70K month, right? And that's been like
Wow.
our biggest month yet. And before that, I wasn't even moving past maybe like 15, sometimes $16,000. But what I want to share with folks that I think is so important, Lloyd, the reason we were able to go up in our price is because I had time to take 3 weeks off and the business didn't fall apart. And I got to have clarity, look at my numbers, look at my actual curriculum. We can actually go up on the cost. We can do a little bit more for our clients and we can keep them longer. That's what's really been the biggest win for me.
There we are. All right. Perfect. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Evolve, one of my clients, I believe has it been a year yet?
It
I'm trying to think.
has. It has.
Wow.
Yeah. Michaela, my setter, celebrated a year, I think about a month ago. So it's been
Wow.
an
Wow.
amazing opportunity. And I think I've known you for almost 2 now because we were in that mastermind
Yeah,
together.
that is right. That is right. So obviously the purpose of today's conversation, I want to be able to kind of dig deep into the behind the scenes details of how you're able to grow your business. You've been fairly successful and you've been able to achieve a lot of really cool things. So we're going to be unpacking all that type of stuff. We'll go deep into the tactics, the mindsets, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe we can first kick off by you just sharing a bit more about your business. What do you even do? Who do you help? And we'll take it from there.
Yeah, thank you for asking, Lloyd. I am the Speaking for Profit coach. So I actually am the founder of a company called Speaking for Profit University, and we help diverse leaders around the world, including DEI professionals, consultants, entrepreneurs, secure the bag and get paid to speak on stages and in boardrooms around the world. So it's been an honor. I actually have a background in diversity, equity, inclusion. So I worked in that field for about 12 years, and now I'm helping people take that on their own and impact the world with their voice and make some big money while they do it.
No, it's super cool because I've spoken on stage a couple of times. It's a little bit nerve wracking, but at the same time, it's cool to be able to connect with like a live audience rather than just what I do, which is like very, very online driven. And there's sometimes like a bit of a disconnect when you can't physically see or interact with the people that you're working with. But it's really cool because from what I understand about your business, not only are you helping them like gain the confidence and the skill sets to be able to perform on stage, but it's also about how do you monetize that, because you don't want to do it just for the fun of it. You want to be able to do it in order for you to hopefully progress in your career or potentially earn more income. So yeah, what it is that you're doing is super, super cool. Now,
Thanks.
as far as like your programming is concerned, maybe you can share a bit more about your actual offer, your price point, and then as well, maybe you can share a little bit about what life was like prior to working with me. In particular, what problems you were having that needed to be solved.
Yeah. Well, you know what? New price, new year, right? So I think when I first started working with you, my offer was probably around $3,000. And we had a core program where we would work with our clients for 6 months through our roadmap, right? And the keys to that roadmap is really around the 3 C's of success. So helping them build credibility through their marketing and their social media, getting them in conversations. That's the second C, with decision makers so that they can build out amazing contracts, and then closing those contracts and making sure that they have some type of retention model, right? So not just going in and doing these one-off speaking engagements, but how do we build out retainers or consultation? So the issues that I was having was that I was burnt out, right? I'm sitting there in delivery as a founder. I'm in Messenger all day trying to have conversations. Then I'm getting on sales calls. I'm hosting conversion events. I'm doing it all on my own. And I got to see this was a key moment when I knew I needed to reach out to you. Number one, you're posting amazing content, so shouts out to you. But number two, I missed the lead that wanted to pay me. Like they were ready to pay me, and I missed them because I didn't have a system that was set up. And then they ended up signing up with another person, right? So for me, it was a moment where I was like, wow, I missed out on a client. I look like I'm responsible and unresponsive, which then doesn't look good for my reputation as a coach. How do I fix that? And I knew that the bottleneck was that I was getting a lot of messages. I was getting a lot of leads. I had an audience, but I really wasn't able to keep up with the volume. So I was able to get with you, and, it's been history ever since.
Lovely, amazing. So why don't we just get into the brass tacks, the numbers, what everyone loves and is always curious about. Can you share with me where you were before working with us in terms of monthly revenue? And then maybe you can also share with us where you were, let's say 3 to 4 months after we were able to implement some of these setter systems into your business, because everyone's very curious about not just how much you make, but how quickly you can make it.
Exactly. Exactly. So, before I started working with you, our offer was right around 3K. Now we're at $12,000 for a year to work
Nice.
with us. But the major thing that I will say about the numbers is that I wasn't having consistency, right? So
Yeah.
I would have a month where I would be getting 2, 3 clients, and then I would have a month where I would only bring in one. And I had some months where I wouldn't even bring in anyone, right? So it would
Wow.
be crickets. 3 months, I'm happy to say, after working with Michaela, right? Because I want to give her credit because she's the one who's really been in the field and doing the work. We actually had one of our first 30K months, right? So we're able to bring in some amazing clients. And then actually 4 to 6 months after that, we had our first 70K month, right? And that's been like
Wow.
our biggest month yet. And before that, I wasn't even moving past maybe like 15, sometimes $16,000, but I wasn't
Yeah.
able to extend beyond that. I was kind of getting stuck in that bottleneck. And I believe you and I had that conversation where I was like, I'm just trying to hit consistently 20 to 30K months. And I'm happy to say that we do that consistently now. We're bringing in at least 4 to 5 clients consistently every month. And now that we've went up in our price recently, right, I'm sure that that's going to increase. But what I want to share with folks that I think is so important, Lloyd, the reason we were able to go up in our price is because I had time to take 3 weeks off and the business didn't fall apart because I had
Mhm.
Michaela, and I got to have clarity, look at my numbers, look at my actual curriculum, right? You put together this curriculum. When do you go back and look at it? And I was like, we can actually go up on the cost. We can do a little bit more for our clients and we can keep them longer because they want to work with us longer. We were seeing people stay with us for at least a year. Why not just
Yeah.
offer them that right out the bat? So honestly, if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have the time to have a CEO reflection, to take a vacation, to go up in my price and really have that clarity. So that's what's really been the biggest win for me.
Yeah. So for clarification, because a lot of people here might be wondering, oh, who is this Michaela person? Is she a miracle
Yes.
worker? Well, Michaela is actually the setter that we were able to find, train, place into Evolve's organization. That's a big part of what it is that we do. Not only do we help people with building out really great top of the funnel traffic generation campaigns, but we also equip them with setters that will allow them to obviously continue to scale and delegate and automate the business. So Michaela is a huge part. And if I heard you correctly, and you can once again give me the more appropriate numbers if I'm missing anything, but before we started working together, you were at around 15-ish K per month, more or less. And then since then, you were able to scale to 30, 40, even had a 70K month. And that was within the first year of having the system aboard. Is
Yes,
that right?
yes, definitely. We've been able to do that. And I will say that I think we're at the point now where we've made double what we made last year. And we're not
Nice.
even through this full year, right? So I think we're already closer to 200K for the year. And last year we were barely hitting 6 figures. So I'm expecting for us to get to that 300 to 500 range by the end of the year, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And you and I can talk about this offline, but I'm really thinking about supporting Michaela and moving into my role, right,
Mm.
as being that account executive, the closer, and working with you to bring on the next Michaela so that we can grow
Yeah.
our sales team.
Oh, we can definitely help you with that. So
Oh, how
yeah.
I know, Lloyd. Oh, how I know.
So what's the next steps then? Walk me through what your plans are for the next couple of months. Like, how do you plan on continuing to scale the
Yeah.
business in terms of, obviously, from a talent perspective, it's fairly easy for us to plug in more setters so that you can always make sure that you're staying on top of all the leads that are coming through your funnel. But from a traffic perspective, or anything else, really, anything else that you feel as though needs to be done in order for you to continue scaling, like, what are your plans?
Yeah, definitely. Well, one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm scaling my YouTube channel, and shouts out to you
Mm.
because I know you've been killing it on YouTube lately. I'm really seeing the power of content and how it can drive people to us. And also it's a monetization machine, right? You're able to
Yeah.
monetize and do ads there. So we're building our YouTube channel. We're also doing conversion events on a regular basis. So monthly we'll be doing a 5-day challenge, really
Mm.
being able to have an opportunity to work with people in a group, because I find that that is going to be the most amazing space for us to really be able to tap into people who are not tire kickers, who are ready to implement and get into action. So that's really why we want to expand our sales team, right? Doing a 5-day challenge, a lot of people think on the front end, it's just like, it's so easy. You just kind of show up. But having those people on the back end who can support our clients and being able to say, hey, how's the challenge going? What's the next steps? What problems are you having? Are going to be the keys to really help us grow it And ultimately, we want to send ads to it eventually, like, and get cold leads there in the space in the conversion event. But I know that we need enough amount of people in our sales team to really be able to take in that traffic. So I'm really big on, if I'm going to turn on a traffic machine, make sure I have the people that are there after making that mistake before working with you that can actually take it on before we.
Yeah, no, that's unreal. So we'll have more conversations as we progress offline, obviously, away from the prying eyes of the world, where we'll talk a little bit more about traffic and how to make sure that we can get it with a high degree of quality, and also making sure that your back end sales ops, your sales team is equipped. So no, that's amazing. So I mean, why don't we just end with final, just remarks. If there was anyone who was watching this and they're contemplating working with, obviously, myself, my team, they're not really sure whether or not it makes sense yet, or maybe they just need words from an unbiased third party, right? Like, what would you say to them in regards to, does it make sense, or in what situations would it make sense? Because obviously not everyone is a good fit for us, right? Like, we're very good for a certain small subset of people. So yeah, we'd love to just hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I'll say that was really great about this is you, Lloyd, right? And I don't think you give yourself sometimes enough credit. You were very patient. You had a process, you had a structure, but you also helped us stick to a timeline. Like, you were an amazing project manager. So I think for folks who are considering doing this, you need to be ready to implement. I love that you said that you're not for everybody, because you're for businesses who are ready to grow and ready to scale and really ready to take it to the next level. But you were able to put together SOPs for me that me and Michaela still use to this day to rock it out when we're running into, like, how do we want to do this? Let's go back to some training and development. Let's talk about the basics. So really, when you're thinking about bringing in a new team member, you need that quality. You need that quality in a leader. So if anybody's on the fence, just really tap into Lloyd's leadership style, his YouTube channel, really get to know his flow, because he's going to take care of you. And even if you get a setter that doesn't work out, what I loved about it, you had a guarantee there. You're like, this person doesn't work out, we'll find you a person that works out. And I really felt like you held my hand through that process, and made me a better sales leader as well. So not only did Michaela get trained, I got trained too. So it's just been really great. We were a great first fit, but I already knew if I didn't have that, I had in the back end that I had you, and I could trust you to really be able to support me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. And yeah, for everyone who's watching this, think about, your own bottlenecks. Consider where you're trying to go, and continuing to do what you're doing now will probably not get you to where you want to go. It'll get you to where you've been, but it doesn't necessarily get you to where you want to go. So really think through what the strategy needs to be over the next 6 to 12 months for your business, and consider the bottlenecks as well. Because something that was really interesting that you had said earlier, Evolve, was like, you were only able to make the biggest groundbreaking movements in your business when you had the time to step away and just reflect and be the CEO. And that is sometimes the most underestimated element of all of this. It's not just about booking more meetings and having more sales calls in the calendar. It's about being able to remove yourself to a degree from the process so that you have space to breathe and think and operate as like a business leader. So the fact that you did is really great. And I think it's one of the things that our system is really good at helping people achieve. So with that being said, thank you so much, guys, for listening, and I'll catch you on the other side.